Have you ever wondered why a hunting rifle feels different the moment you pick it up? Why it hums with history, not just steel and walnut, but something raw and American in its bones? Out here, from the Midwest farmlands to the thick pine woods of the deep South, that connection runs deep. A bolt-action rifle isn't just a tool. It's a heartbeat passed down through generations, from father to son, mentor to student, hunter to hunter. It's the quiet ritual that still ties modern America to the frontier spirit that built it. When the leaves turn and the first frost bites the air, every man and woman who's ever tracked deer, elk, or wild hogs feels that call. You shoulder your rifle, breathe out slow, and everything fades except the trigger under your finger. That's when you understand. This isn't a hobby, it's a rite of passage. And among those rifles that carry this legacy, one name rises like a church bell through history: the Winchester Model 70. Born in 1935, this rifle wasn't just made, it was crafted. Every line, every cut, every action screamed purpose. Folks called it the Rifleman's rifle, and that wasn't just clever branding. It was truth earned in the field, one clean shot at a time. Winchester Repeating Arms had already carved its name into legend with the Model 1873, the gun that won the West. Then came the Model 1894, a lever-action masterpiece. The Model 70 carried that DNA forward into the age of precision. Its heart, a design borrowed from the Mauser-style, a controlled round feed system built for hunters who needed absolute reliability when a charging bull elk or bear left zero room for error. The early rifles came wrapped in American walnut, deep checkering, clean shoulders, and that scent of oiled wood that every hunter remembers from childhood. After World War II, when the country came home and prosperity filled the land, the Model 70 stood tall again. It became the gentleman's rifle, the worker's rifle, the rifle for every man who valued accuracy, trust, and timeless design. Decades later, Winchester didn't let nostalgia turn it soft. In 2018, they chambered it in 6.5mm Creedmoor, proving old blood can adapt. The rifle held zero through 1,000 rounds like it was welded to the earth. Every click of that bolt still feels like tradition whispering, "We're not done yet." But America doesn't live on heritage alone. Enter the Ruger American Rifle, proof that affordability doesn't mean compromise. Launched in 2011, it tore through the myth that you had to spend a fortune to get real performance. These rifles are lean, modern, and brutally efficient. Synthetic stocks that can take a beating, cold hammer-forged barrels that group tight, and Ruger's bedding block system that keeps everything locked solid. And the best part? You can find one sitting around $400. That's not just a deal, that's a statement. Ruger proved that precision belongs to everyone, not just those with deep pockets. You get adjustable triggers, free-floating barrels, and chamberings from 30 to 0.6 Springfield down to 223 Remington, ready for anything from whitetail to coyote. Hunters took notice. Range reports came back glowing. Groups under an inch at 100 yards, out of a rifle that costs less than a weekend's gas. The Ruger American became the people's rifle, rugged, humble, and deadly accurate. But the story doesn't end there. Because standing behind every new legend is a godfather of accuracy that refuses to fade away, a rifle so proven it became a military sniper platform. You can't whisper the words hunting rifle in America without someone dropping this name like a hammer: the Remington Model 700. Since 1962, this rifle has put more venison in freezers, more steel on target, and more confidence in shooters than almost any other bolt gun in the world. It's not just a piece of machinery, it's the measuring stick. Pick up a Model 700, work that bolt, and you'll understand why. The motion feels like a well-oiled handshake, firm, deliberate, no surprises. That's no accident. Remington designed it with one goal: reliability that breeds accuracy. And boy, did they deliver. Over 5 million rifles across more than 900 variants have rolled out since the first one hit the shelves. That's not production, that's a dynasty. The secret lies in what Remington called its 3 rings of steel, a safety and accuracy system that changed the way bolt guns were built. First ring, the solid steel that surrounds the bolt face. Second ring, another one around the barrel breech. Third, the receiver ring that locks it all together. The result? Every round sits inside a fortress. When that firing pin drops, the explosion stays exactly where it should, right behind the bullet, not in your face. That's why the Model 700 isn't just a hunting rifle. It's a legend that crossed over into the battlefield. In the early 1980s, the US Army took notice. They needed a precision weapon that could take abuse, hold zero, and reach out past 1,000 yards. What did they pick? The Model 700. It became the backbone of the M24 sniper weapon system. Fast forward to 2010. The Army updated that same rifle into the M2010 Enhanced Sniper Rifle, rechambered it from 308 Winchester to 300 Winchester Magnum, and didn't even need to redesign the action. That's how overbuilt the receiver was. Civilian shooters watched all this happen and realized something simple. If it's good enough for Uncle Sam's long-range operators, it'll do just fine for a cold November deer stand. You asked for a rifle with battlefield pedigree and hunting finesse, meet the Browning Bar. The story starts in 1918 on the churned mud of the old world, where an automatic rifle earned its teeth. That wartime machine laid down a lineage of engineering grit that would, decades later, be reborn for the woods and mountains. The modern Browning Bar carries that DNA forward, but stripped of the machine gun chaos and tuned for one purpose: fast, reliable, follow-up shots on game that moves when you blink. Here's the punchline. A semi-automatic hunting rifle can be quieter to operate in frantic moments and faster on the second shot than a bolt action with a tired shooter. The bar feeds from a detachable magazine, typically 3 to 4 rounds depending on caliber, and comes chambered in workmanlike cartridges like 7mm 308 Winchester and 243 Winchester. For hunters stepping into true big game country, Browning even offered 338 Winchester Magnum variants built for elk and moose. Handling is where the Browning Bar earns its keep. Despite packing hard-hitting rounds, the gun stays surprisingly light in hand. A .338 bar rarely tips more than 8 pounds, roughly a pound heavier than comparable bolt guns, and the recoil remains tame enough to let you line up a fast, accurate follow-up. In dense timber or on a glassing ridge, that balance of power and control turns nervous misses into clean, decisive hits. That's why fanciers of big game country keep a bar in the truck. Finally, if you want performance with a reputation to match, the Weatherby Vanguard closes the list like a long-range exclamation point. Roy Weatherby started the company in 1945, and the Vanguard line grew out of a push to pair Weatherby accuracy with a price more hunters could reach. Built with tight tolerances, a stout action, and match-grade barrels, many modern Vanguards come straight from the factory with a sub-MOA promise, 3 shots in, under 1 inch, at 100 yards, when you feed it premium ammunition. That kind of consistency turns field practice into confidence. The Vanguard's action blends the best bits of classic extraction systems for smooth feeding and bullet-friendly handling. Its 2-stage trigger breaks predictable and clean, and chambering options range from 223 Remington varmint rounds to heavy hitters like 375 Holland and Holland Magnum for the dangerous game crowd. Put plainly, pick a Vanguard for surgical precision and a predictable shot every time you call it up. So what ties these rifles together? Trust, plain and simple. From the walnut-lined halls of the past to the synthetic adjustable platforms of today, hunters demand gear that gets the job done when everything else fails. Whether you pick a Winchester Model 70, a Ruger American, a Remington Model 700, the Browning Bar, the Savage Axis II, or the Weatherby Vanguard, you're buying into a lineage of ethics, shot placement, responsibility, and the quiet pride of a clean harvest. Which one do you reach for on opening weekend? Which rifle made you learn to call your shot? Drop it in the comments, and if this hit your feed, like and subscribe. Stay safe, shoot straight, and I'll see you at the firing line.